food bank. So that's the latest on the recovery effort in Tasmania. Let's get more on today's GDP figures. They show an economy that's hardly moving. Combined with the high cost of living, it means many people are struggling. Here's Shungu Patsika, a senior financial counsellor at the National Debt Helpline. Shungu, thank you so much for your time. Very good to see you. So how would you describe the level of demand for your services right now?
Well, unsurprisingly, Roz, demand for our service has increased year on year. In the last year, we've actually seen 40% more calls to our service. And just to put a number to it, you're talking about 6,000 calls usually we get a year, $22,000 that the National Debt Helpline receives nationwide. And so a 40% increase in calls from people in financial hardship certainly tells us that people are struggling at the moment.
That's a big increase, isn't it? So what are people's main issues when they get in touch with you? What do they need the most help with?
Sure. So historically, we've assisted people who mainly struggle with credit card debt. And in this year, about 6,000 calls have related to credit card debt inquiries. Unfortunately, more recently, especially in the last 6 months, we're seeing people struggling with mortgage arrears. So with the increased rates over the last few months and people's mortgages nearly doubling, and in some cases even more than doubling, mortgages in the last 6 months have been the highest inquiry. And people basically are looking for relief from their creditors. And that's what we discuss with them. We explain to clients in mortgage stress, where you're in arrears on your home loan for whatever reason, that you have a right to ask for assistance from your lender, either to reduce your payments if you're in hardship temporarily, or to pause those repayments, just depending on the help you need.
Sure. Shungu, are you allowed to give us some real-life examples, without naming clients, of course? What sort of situations are people facing individually?
Certainly. Just today, I spoke to a family where both parents are employed. However, they recently lost their jobs and on lower incomes. And the challenge there, unfortunately, is when your income as a household reduces, you don't have as much capacity to service all your debt obligations as well as covering your day-to-day needs. So this particular family had a really challenging conversation around not only putting their mortgage on hold, but working out, is the mortgage actually affordable? Again, their mortgage has doubled, and some tough decisions may need to be made if they can't increase their income to the level they received before.
All right. So how are people managing then?
Look, Ross, the honest truth is that a lot of people aren't managing, and this is perhaps something that we haven't talked nearly enough about in the last couple of years. Not only are we talking about families, we're also talking about people who are living on their own, not just not only mortgages, but rentals as well. People are just calling our service and asking for help wherever they can get it. Now, the way generally we suggest that they get help is to talk to their lenders, if it's a home loan, to pause repayments. However, if it's for rental arrears, there are thankfully a number of community services that are funded to temporarily help people behind in their rent, as well as emergency relief providers where if you can't put food on the table, thankfully there are community agencies that can help with food and petrol vouchers.
Yeah. And overall, Shungu, what's your general advice for people who are struggling to make ends meet, who perhaps feel reluctant to get in touch with an organisation like yours?
Absolutely. So there's no shame and there's no stigma in struggling at the moment. Everyone is doing it tough. And I would highly recommend that you reach out for help. And our service, the National Debt Helpline, is there to help. Our number is 1-800-007-007. You will speak with a financial counsellor who's non-judgmental. We are a free service as we are government funded. We are confidential as well. And we will guide you through all your rights and options if you're struggling financially during this time.
Shungu Patsika, thank you so much.
You're welcome.